Hallo, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Khush Amdeed. Ji ayanu, goedemorgen, Ishpata.
Bakhair agale, ni hao, churushumme, washwale, ohio, guzaimis, guten morgen, hola, boyor, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, bali karaya. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You watching World This Morning, alongside my very amazing co-host, Ms. Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan on a very fine Thursday morning over here in Islamabad. Hello, Shiza. How are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely great. Thank you so much for asking. I'm loving the energy. So my question to you is going to be, how many cups of coffee have you had so far?
Well, to be honest, I think I've had 2 cups of coffee, which I would never recommend for anybody out there.
Yeah.
But since, I couldn't get up, literally I couldn't get up early in the morning as well. It was just because of the fact that I had a couple of meetings just last night as well. There were a lot of friends who were over. They're staying at my place and they don't let you fall asleep as well. So after a while, they'll just kind of kick you a little bit, oh, yaar, tum so rahe ho. So things like that. But yeah, so I needed 2 cups of coffee, and here I am with a lot of energy. I'm energized. I'm just like this right now.
But
what about you? Did you have your coffee?
Of course I did. I'm still having it, if you guys
Wow.
can see. But I think, Shahzad, credit's due where it's due. Even after all that, I think you do manage to appear on screen every other morning, regardless of what's going in your life. I feel like that is, yes, a part of our job. Stop it.
I think the rule is very basic. If you do not show up at work, ladies and gentlemen, you don't get paid. So I do not literally want to miss out on the kind of work Allah's giving me. So I'm like, I'm going to show up every single day, no matter what happens.
Right. Well, yes, that's one thing. But my message for all of you was going to be to actually feel, really actually feel about what you're doing.
Yep.
Put your heart in it. That is the only way you will actually move forward, succeed, or try to reach the goals that you have set for yourself.
Yep.
Well, so this was probably 2 weeks back, Shahzad.
Right.
I finally went for my vaccination.
Wow.
I'm talking about this because, well, ever since the vaccines were available in Pakistan, we have been talking about it. We
Yep.
have been sort of endorsing it. Please get your parents vaccinated, get anyone elderly in your family vaccinated. But now the good thing is, 18 plus, everyone can get vaccinated. Find out your centers and everything. Did you get it?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
How was the experience?
And it was a difficult procedure, literally, to be
How?
very honest. Well, it was a difficult procedure from within me.
Oh, okay.
Because, to decide whether I'm going to get myself inoculated, that was something very different.
Mm-hmm.
So, initially it was very difficult for us to convince our mother
Of
that, hey,
course.
mom, everybody needs to go through it. And I was the one who was kind of, vouching for it as well. And then mom was like, very reluctant. And then eventually she got it. She fell ill. Like, for like 2 or 3 days, and then she was like, you guys are doing this to me and stuff, whatnot. How women can be over here in Pakistan, especially elderly women. बच्चों तुम लोगों ने जानबूझ के किया ये तुम लोग मुझे बिस्तर के साथ लगाना चाहते but things like that. But now she's fine, alhamdulillah, and she's thankful that we kind of pushed her. Then one day, my father actually went to the F9 mass vaccination center as well, and he called me. He was like, if you need to get vaccinated, come over here. The process is so smooth. And it's so amazing that, you're going to get done in 5 minutes,
That's
not even
nice.
more than that. So that, I had it in my mind as well. And then, just before, because, ladies and gentlemen, we will be leaving. In fact, I will be leaving on the Friday for Hunza as well. I'm going to the Khunjrab Pass, China border. And, so I wanted to go to the north for a longer period of time.
Sorry, I'm cutting you in,
Yep.
but I really have to. The fun part is, while you are going to be discovering and, roaming around the north of Pakistan, I'm doing that to the south of Pakistan.
Wow.
So the good part is, ladies and gentlemen, we will be bringing you videos from all the places we go to so that we can do a tour together.
Exactly. So that's going to be wonderful as well. So then, my family said that, if you want to go, you really need to get yourself vaccinated. So that was the time when I decided. So just yesterday, I went over there. And I thought that, that we really need to appreciate the efforts undertaken by the NCOC as well.
Definitely,
Because Pakistan,
definitely.
ladies and gentlemen, is topping the list amongst all of those countries where the vaccination rates are very high as well. So we have surpassed probably 10 million, and we're doing a wonderful job so far. So for all of those people, who brought up this system, who are looking after this system, kudos to you guys. You guys are doing a great job, and you're making Pakistan proud and safe.
Yes, and for all of those people who are still probably scared to go and get vaccinated, let me just tell you, I often do pass out seeing needles. I really don't want to be afraid of it, but I didn't feel it. I promise you that.
So you're like
So
one of those.
I was like, okay, am I going to die? But well, that is just one of the fears I think a lot of people do have, but it was so easy. I didn't even feel the pain first of all. And they don't take a lot of time like other probably injections to inject it in your arm. It's just a jab. That's why they call it.
That's
It's just literally like
Chalo
this.
bachcho, aage ho jao.
Well, that's that. I really hope everyone out there is doing great even in this pandemic. And one way to stay absolutely fit and great, and Shazad, we have spoken about it, is definitely
That was
eating
very
healthy.
smart. That was
I
very
know,
smart.
right?
And you know what? You know, so today, you know, we were on the same page because that was the exact same
Really?
line I had in my mind as well. But yeah, please move on.
All right, eating healthy, of course. So I'm not saying, or I'm not, of course, sort of, categorizing that if you do eat healthy, you'll never get the coronavirus, but you will have a very good immunity to fight it, along with so many other diseases that might, unfortunately, come up in your life as well. Diseases at one part, just to be healthy on your own from inside and the outside is something that you feel really good about.
Yep.
I mean, it puts your life on track as well, and I think Shazad can sort of speak about that because he's all about this lifestyle. I'm not, I'll be very honest over here, but he is. He eats healthy, he works out and
I'm
everything.
trying, yeah.
So what are we doing today,
All right,
Shazad?
so today, ladies and gentlemen, we'll actually be talking about organic farming. And, you know, when we say organic, we really need to make sure that it's organic, you know, so that there's no contaminated water, so that there are no pesticides used, you know, so there's no man-made formula in it. I mean, everything needs to come together naturally is something which we were talking about.
Okay.
And especially in a country where, you know, where you're not even sure whether what you're eating, you know, so you go, you order a mutton kadai and you never know that you get a kadai of a different animal, you know, you really not sure about that. Just a few days ago, I was in conversation with my father where we had watermelons in our place.
Yeah.
And, you know, the watermelon actually was very red from inside, but it didn't taste the way it should.
Oh.
You know, so it was very different. So, you know, and I have seen a couple of videos where people are actually injecting red juice into the watermelon as well. So, you know, imagine the kind of harm you're bringing to yourself by eating or consuming such products. So there are people who actually came up with this idea that, hey, you know what, organic farming is just not all about vegetables and fruits being expensive. You know, it can be easily afforded. How is something which we'll be talking about, ladies and gentlemen. But after this short report, go ahead, take a look. And once you guys will come back, we will introduce our amazing guest who's vouching for organic farming. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
The term organic refers to the process of how certain foods are produced. Organic foods have been grown or farmed without the use of artificial chemicals, hormones, antibiotics, or genetically modified organisms. Organic food is often fresher because it doesn't contain preservatives that make it last longer. Organic produce is sometimes but not always, so watch where it is from, produced on a smaller farms nearer to where it is sold. Organic farming tends to be better for the environment. Organic farming practices may reduce pollution, conserve water, reduce soil erosion, increase soil fertility, and use less energy. Farming without synthetic pesticides is also better for the nearby birds and animals as well as the people who live close to the farms. Organically raised animals are not given antibiotics, growth hormones, or fed animal byproducts. Feeding livestock animal byproducts increases the risk of mad cow disease, and use of antibiotics can create antibiotic-resistant strains of bacteria. Organically raised animals tend to be given more space to move around and access to outdoors, which help to keep them healthy. Organic meat and milk can be richer in certain nutrients. Results of a 2016 European study show that levels of certain nutrients, including omega-3 fatty acids, were up to 50% higher in organic meat and milk than in conventionally raised versions. Organic food is genetically modified organisms free. Genetically engineered foods are plants whose DNA has been altered in ways that cannot occur in nature or in traditional crossbreeding, most commonly in order to be resistant to the pesticides or produce an insecticide. Most commonly purchased organic fruits are fruits, vegetables, grains, dairy products, and meat.
All right.
All right. It's kind of making sense to me now, but I still do have a lot of questions. My first being, Shazad, what were you doing in the farms?
Right, so you know, I was just looking for better opportunities, so I actually went to check out the farm as well. I was lucky enough that, you know, I met this lady, you know, who comes to my gym as well, and then, you know, she actually spoke about that how, you know, she got into organic farming. And then that was the time when I realized that, hey, you know what, we actually need to go. So I even offered her but she and Taiba couldn't manage to kind of join me as well. I'm
but
sorry.
no, but here's the thing. I think the point was, which we drifted away from,
Yeah.
that we made sure that Shahzad actually goes, or one of us goes to check it out, of course, before we bring it to you guys as well. And what we are going to talk about now, Shahzad, is something that a lot of women right now, I'm not trying to make it sort of gender biased, but because of the culture, a lot of women are into kitchen farming too, kitchen gardens as well. And why not actually have everything in your backyard? Just open the door, go out, get your tomatoes, get your dhania, pudina, and just come back to the kitchen. I think it's very interesting for a lot of people. Let's just dig into it.
It is, and before we dig into it, ladies and gentlemen, before our guest actually got into it, it was her father. So, we're not talking about genders over here.
Oh, of course,
but
of
let's
course.
introduce our amazing guest. Ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky that we've actually been joined by an entrepreneur. She happens to be Sabina Ahmad. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Assalamu alaikum.
Why, Usam, we were so full of energy.
I know.
Assalamu alaikum.
No, I was so impressed and inspired by all the energy and the secret of having it by 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah. Now you know.
Yeah,
But
now
that's
I
not recommended. You literally feel a little shaken. You do not know what to do about it. But thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving us time as well. And we hope that that we are going to share such amazing information with people outside in 46 different countries that they will definitely take inspiration or draw inspiration from you. Now, first things first, when was the time when you decided, hey, you know what, I'm giving up on conventional eating and I'm going to just be about organic? That's it.
Okay. So this is basically, myself, I've been into health and fitness and wellness for a good 15 years now. And part of that was, and that was initially, people think that it's all about working out, exercise, and, careful eating. Yeah. But as I read about it, talked about it, found out through people who were actually practicing healthy choices, eating clean is a big part in it. Yeah. So exercise, workout, it's all very important, but eating clean is very important too. Now, how do you eat clean? Yeah. So you make healthy choices, like you, for example, decide you don't want to have too many fried things, or you don't want to have too many things with sugars. That's one way. The other is whatever you are taking in is also clean. Okay. That's where the whole organic food thinking kind of comes in. Yeah. So the vegetables that you pick, the milk that you have, the meat that you consume, it is all also sourced clean. So that was where I kind of started sort of digging deeper into this. Then started looking also around in terms of choices that we had in the market. So, you go to the market and try and find where you find the clean vegetables, and it was kind of difficult. A lot of people in Islamabad, I'm specifically talking about Islamabad, they claim sometimes that they have organic vegetables or they grow organic vegetables, but since we don't have a lot of certification in Pakistan, and there are no ways to actually check and certify that these sort of products are clean. Yeah. So that is always a challenge. So you are picking something probably at a higher price and not even sure if it's organic.
Right. So I'm sorry that I'll be putting you under the spot as well, or in the spot. And since you mentioned yourself that there's no certification process, there's no system which is going to authenticate whether the products which are coming from the farm are organic or not. So how do you make sure that that for all of those people who are buying from you, who are getting their vegetables and fruits from you, they know that that it's organic, 100%?
So it's 2 ways. One is that we are open in the sense that our farm, you can visit the farm and you can pick the vegetables yourself. Okay. So we take you through the whole process. So
but we still won't know whether it's organic.
Is there a standard or something?
Okay, yes, there are standards. There are organic farming standards. Usually the USDA ones or the EU ones, the European Union are the standards. In Pakistan, there is only one certification agency, and when you apply for an application, you wait for about 2 to 3 years to get certified because it's a long process. They need to come and check all your sources. It's not just about, the report you sort of just displayed earlier, shared earlier, it says everything about organic farming. Yeah. You use clean sources of water, you don't use pesticides which are chemical, you don't use weedicides which are chemical, so you use all the natural ways to grow and nurture your vegetables. So one way to do it, so in our case, for example, we call it the green route because that's the choice that we made. We are going to be choosing the green way of doing things. So you can actually come and visit and see that whatever we do is kind of out there and it's clean, and you can also sense it and experience it when you eat those vegetables, they would taste different. They last longer because, you know, they have a better, you know, sort of they are not artificial preservatives used in any ways. They have the best nutrients because they are naturally driven. So, you know, the shelf life is also slightly longer. They taste good. They look better. So these are some of the checks that you already have in place. So we started commercially only this year. We would be applying for the certification too, and I think probably we will be the first in Islamabad to actually, you know,
Get
sort
the
of get it, hopefully get it too.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right, because yes, like you just said, there have been people who do claim about it, but the certification is probably where you get a stamp that this is legit. Now, Ms. Sabina, well, this sounds really nice, but how do we make sure, so when you talk about the fertilizers or pesticides or whatsoever that is, we're not using them, we're not using the synthetic ones, then first of all, what are your options? How do you make sure on such a huge land that each and every part is equally catered to? You know what I'm saying? So, for example, if I'm getting tomatoes from this portion, this is where Sabina paid more attention, and this is where it not. So, I'm just sort of doing justice to the questions here as well. And then, when we talk about animals or dairy products for that matter, are you into that as well?
To answer the easier part, no, not the dairy yet. On the question of the fertilizers and everything that we use and how we use it, so the thing is, it's always going to be something which is they are called the biofertilizers. So you use whatever is yes. So it's the natural manure and the compost. So we do our own composting
and
too.
that's something which I saw. I witnessed it as well. You know, so they've dug holes. I didn't know what farming looked like. You know, till the time I went onto the farm. They had leaves in it, and then I don't know what it's made up of, but you know, she kind of explained it to me that we are making our own compost, and I was like, yeah, it's awesome.
Impressive. So how do you do that?
That is the fertilizer that you use, the natural one. It's organic farming is a much more responsible work. It's more painstaking. These products are not easily available and accessible. A lot of things that you need to prepare yourself. For example, we don't use the chemical the pesticides. So we have to make our own based out of things like neem oil. I mean, that's one of the most best sources actually. So natural things. So it's painstaking. The products are something that you have to research on. You know, not easily available. You go to a store and you just buy it. I mean, you have to make an effort. That's why also, you know, people are hesitant to, you know, sort of get into it. Secondly, for some people, it's just not financially feasible, because if it's easy to grow potatoes in a certain way, they will keep growing it because that's what fetches the money. One of the basic rules of organic farming is actually crop rotation. So you don't just have one thing all the time. You need to make sure, you know, you are using the natural crop patterns which are appropriate for the climate too. So there are lots of things that you need to keep in mind. And as about your question on, so when you have the whatever farm that you have, whatever vegetable varieties that you are growing, you are sort of equally careful about all patches. So it's not like the tomatoes will be getting better food than the rest. So you just have to be very careful about every inch of it benefiting from the same, for example, fertilizer.
And give them a little space as well.
And like you said, I think it's a huge responsibility, so definitely you have to take care of every part of it. But now, I don't know what the term for it is called, but we do know wherever rice is grown, sort of, or well, whatever field is used to grow a crop, 2 years later, the soil is, the quality of the soil is very compromised, and I don't know if you can grow something else there again. How do you manage that?
Okay, so in conventional farming, you use artificial chemical-driven things to make the soil fertile again. So you know
that's what's saving you.
So what we do is we do the natural nutrients to the soil to improve the quality of soil. That is why crop rotation, using cover crops is very important, because you know you also give the earth, the soil, a break between, you know, sort of, and help it sort of regain its strength before you plant the next. That's why it's very painstaking, because there are times when you just let it be, you know, let it kind of recover, and then and if in conventional farming you don't want to let this land sit idle. Yes, exactly. So that's one way, and then you use the compost and the manure that you use. That is what provides the natural source of nutrients to the soil. So it's kind of enriched again, and then you kind of grow things that are also sort of in sync with what you don't grow things which are sort of artificial in that way. So something which fits in with your climate, something which fits in with your environment. That's one of the basic principles of organic farming.
And we definitely want to build upon that, and we know that you have a lot to share as well. But kind of adding on to that, Because there's this very important aspect to organic farming, ladies and gentlemen, that even the seeds cannot be hybrid, you know. So they really need to be organic and authentic as well. So you need to get your hands onto something, because you know these days that's not what the practice is. And you just said that you know your farm would probably be the only one with the certification in 2 years or 3 years time as well. So how did you get your hands onto all of those organic seeds and then growing up? And not just that, there's a lot of research required, you know.
Yes.
So which vegetables to grow, which fruits to grow. For example, you were telling me about avocados. That's a gold mine, by the way, in a farm. You know, a lot of avocados.
Really?
And you have to pay ₹600 for one avocado.
Oh,
In the
wow.
market.
Yeah, in the market,
Achha,
obviously, you know,
I know.
not about them, but that's something which he shared with me.
Yeah.
So, you know, from different weathers and then climate change and then, you know, all of these things. So, how does it affect?
So on the
Is it
question,
feasible, organic farming?
so farming itself is very threatened in today's environment. The climate is really affecting the agriculture very much, and we also experience that on a daily basis. Even here in Islamabad, you know, the thunderstorms and everything suddenly happening in the middle of summer, they have an impact. So climate change and the water-stressed situation generally in around the world, and especially Pakistan is one of the most water-stressed countries. And farming agriculture is one of the biggest source of consuming water.
Yeah.
So one of the principles also in organic farming is being very efficient with the use of water, so you don't waste it. So you find ways to water which actually help conserve water. Here at the farm we also have actually used rain harvesting as one way. So we harvest the rainwater and then use it. Recycling is very important in organic farming. So whatever you have, the natural source, and then you kind of use it. So on your question about how do you make sure that you are not using GMO seed, and so here we kind of banked on the research by the Pakistan Agricultural Research Council. And they are, by the way, doing very good work, and they are also doing all the necessary research work that as an entity we can't undertake. I mean, that requires a lot of resources and, you know, sort of a certain kind of expertise. So we kind of bank a lot on what they research. Our source of sort of buying seeds and plants is NARC, because they don't use hybrid. So they grow their own, so they grow their own varieties, and it's a pretty clean system that way. But once you start your own, then they kind of, you use your own. So once you grow a crop, you can use its own seeds, and that's how it grows. That is what initially in conventional farming was all about, till the hybrid seed came in. And then you just purchase the seed, which will give you one crop, and then there will be no seed for the next, so you buy again. And that's where the commercial aspect
And you know,
comes in.
of course, and about everything commercial, they do put it up on such cheap rates that the person is bound to buy. I mean, I often, now I find myself thinking, you know, sorry to name it, but I'm going to do it, a packet of chips, I'm going to say Lay's, right? You're saying 20 rupees mein itna maza kaise aa raha hai? Just think how cheap the content is, man. 20. What are you putting in your stomach? I can't even go there. But
This is
now,
exactly something, you know, which I think about when I'm actually having a chewing gum, you know. So I'm like, you know,
I like
8 rupees mein, you know, what are they actually putting in here? You know, that's not affordable even.
questionable,
Poison.
definitely.
Yeah.
But now, Sabina, a lot
Poison is too harsh though.
No, generally, I mean,
Yeah.
so there is enough research now that the artificial nutrients that we use in the fertilizers actually are cancer causing.
Really?
Yes, they
Even
are
the
cancer
sugar
causing.
that we use at
Yes.
our home is called white poison for
Exactly,
that matter.
exactly.
So now that we have to wrap the segment up, Sabina, first of all, let us know about your expansion plans, if you have any. I would really love for you to bring down a fish farm here so that I can have my first-time fish from here.
Yeah.
Let us know about that. And also, if you have any tips about women watching you right now who might want to start at their home with organic farming.
And one last thing, and that is that, you know, that people have this concept or image about organic farming, that if you are to purchase organic fruits and vegetables, that they will cost us way more than what we are actually spending right now. Is that true or not?
It is true to an extent, because I said the inputs for this are not so easily available, and it's much more painstaking than the other. So yes, the differential would be there, but then it's worth paying the extra buck for, because remember, what you are what you eat. So that should be something like very important. In terms of scale up, Shiza, yes. So we started this as a pilot to see how good we can be with it. We had been doing it for ourselves for a long time now. The farm, as you said, has been there for 25 years. But commercially, we only started doing it recently. So the plan is definitely scale up. We are also looking at the market. The idea is not just to sell vegetables. We want to actually promote a healthy lifestyle. We want to promote sustainable agriculture. We want to make sure that people know their responsibility towards the environment. So at our farm, for example, when people come and purchase vegetables, there are absolutely no plastic bags allowed. We make sure that there is no plastic on the farm.
Amazing,
yeah.
amazing.
So,
and that is so responsible of you as well. I really hope you guys keep doing that. Best of luck for your future endeavors. And you give me a vibe as if you're a Pakistani Martha Stewart or Cindy Crawford, you know, everything in your backyard. So you
Yes.
just go out, pick your lemons. Well, thank you so much for being here, Ms. Sabina. We'd love to have you again, inshallah. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd love to bring you tips that are going to make you healthy. We want the entire Pakistan to be healthy. I mean, let's move forward together. Right now, we are going to go to a short break. When we come back, Shahzad actually has something exciting for you.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, when you're going to eat good, you know, you obviously are going to feel good as well. You know, so this is something which we talked about. Imagine if you listen to something amazing, how would you feel? Amazing, right? We're going for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. So tu na mera, wow, this was absolutely stunning to first of all look at, and then what a melody to my ears, just beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this was Zoha Zuberi. She is here in the studio, but before we do introduce, I think we need to talk about the video itself, the song itself. We have been looking at this girl giving out some amazing, amazing music for some years now. The best part is, Shahzad, whatever comes out from her, whenever it does, it's always something new.
Exactly.
Like in this video, I did love the editing, I did love the visuals of it, I did love the sound of it and everything. And now that luckily Spotify or similar platforms are in Pakistan, I think she's doing a great name for herself and for Pakistan too.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, one of my very favorites.
Yeah, but with a little bit of further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I think there were a few things which I wanted to mention, and that is that, you know, since we do host a lot of musicians and singers, but you know that it's very rare that you come across people where you can be like that, you know, they're right in front of you and you know that they're superstars already, alhamdulillah. The kind of talent she possesses, the kind of mindset she has with music, I think is one of those things which is very commercial at the same time and very unique. So, you know, she has her own unique selling point as well, but the way she's making music, the way she's making or investing on her music videos makes it look like that she is, alhamdulillah, a superstar. Ladies and gentlemen, she is Ms. Zoha Zuberi. Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
Thank you for having me here.
Always a pleasure, Zoha. Always a pleasure.
I'm great. How are you guys?
Absolutely perfect. Wow, what a conversation started. That was an icebreaker, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, moving on, Zoha, it's wonderful to have you over here. Congratulations. You've just released a new song as well. And the video we played was fantastic as well. So you've done so many songs. You've done so much of music as well. How do you feel about it?
I feel really great right now because I've been releasing a lot of new music and I've been working on a lot of new music. Like right now I'm working on 3 different EPs.
Okay.
EPs are like something shorter than an album, right?
All right.
So I'm working on 3 different EPs. 2 are very, you know, trendy and experimental. That's something that's going on in Pakistan right now. And 1 is something that I'm working like, that's something that's straight from the heart. So I'm very proud of myself right now.
And you should be. Of course, there's no reason that you shouldn't be. But Zoha, this was not the latest one that you put out because that doesn't have a video yet?
Yeah, it doesn't have a video yet. The video will come out at the end of the month.
So I did realize one thing lately, though probably a year or 2, that you're really working hard on your videos.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Is it something that came to your mind, okay, I want to put visuals to what I sing as well? Where is the conception from? Is this your own ideas? Is this what you feel when you're writing the lyrics? Let us know all about it.
Okay, so whenever I'm writing a song, there's always a story in my mind. I'm actually thinking of all the visuals and everything while I'm writing the song.
That's nice.
But recently I realized that because Pakistan did not have platforms like Spotify before, people really needed a video to look at while they listened to the music, because YouTube was the only platform that people could put out their music on. And then my husband, he started, you know, doing directions and everything like that. So we together, so we together just decided that we need to put good videos out, and we just started working on that.
And that's amazing, first of all, to have someone so supportive who understands your work, and then to work together on something like this as well. Can I throw another question?
Yeah, sure, why not? You know, it's a ladies' conversation today.
I know, I often hog his time as well, so sorry for that. But all right, you spoke about Spotify. It's a great, again, we've spoken about it before as well. A lot of artists are happy that it's here in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Do you think it's changing your business?
Yeah, of course, because now it's not that important for us to have a very expensive video out there. It's just important to have good music, and a lot of people, even the mainstream artists, are putting out audios and videos later on, and low budget videos, not, you know, massive videos, because now we have an audio platform, finally, for music.
And that audio platform actually sponsored your audio as well. Kuch Kehna Chahta Hoon, and Kuch Kehna Chahta Hoon was actually conceived by you in a very poetry form or poetical form, you know, to be correct with it as well. So when did you decide that, okay, you know, since it's good poetry, let's just put some music with it as well?
I guess I just put that poetry piece out first, and people wanted a video with the poetry piece. So I started, like, I made a video with me painting something, and I put the poetry out there with a little bit of music at the background. And then people started telling me that they wanted a song out of it as well. So then I converted that poetry into a music piece. So it came out brilliantly, and I'm very proud of it. This is the first type of song that I've done that's completely different from everything that I've ever done.
So would you mind if we share it with our audiences in 46 different countries as of
Yeah,
now?
sure.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that's Zoha Zuberi. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
कुछ कहना चाहता हूँ, क्या तुम सुनोगे? कुछ कहना चाहता हूँ, क्या तुम सुनोगे? जो लम्हे हम जिए हैं, क्या तुम चुनोगे? कुछ कहना चाहता हूँ, क्या तुम सुनोगे? मुसाफिर नहीं, किनारा हूँ मैं, प्यारा नहीं, पर क्या मुझ पर रुकोगे? दिल में है तूफान, आँखों में आतिश, रूह है ये खाली, क्या तुम ये सहोगे? कुछ कहना चाहता हूँ, क्या तुम सुनोगे? वक्त से गिला है, वक्त से मोहब्बत, दोबारा मिले तो क्या तुम ही मिलोगे? दी भी वही है, अदब भी वही है, क्या तब भी यूं मुझसे अलग ही चलोगे? कुछ कहना चाहता हूँ, क्या तुम सुनोगे? जो लम्हे हम जिए हैं, क्या तुम चुनोगे? कुछ कहना चाहता हूँ, क्या तुम सुनोगे? ये दुनिया है फानी, तेरी मेरी कहानी, सितारों में जाकर क्या मेरे बनोगे? ला 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 चाहता हूँ, क्या तुम सुनोगे? जब पूछेगा वो तुमसे, क्या मुझको चुनोगे?
Wow. ऐसे आप कहेंगे तो मैं जरूर सुनूंगी, of
Wow.
course.
And I was about to say that just while you were singing, so I had this complete explanation of how I actually felt while you were singing. So it's like, kuch kehna chahta hu, aap bhi sun le. And that is that, so in movies you see that, that there's a slow motion scene and, so it's like magical dewdrops falling probably, from sky onto the earth. And you're just standing over there. It was very mesmerizing. It was serene.
Thank you.
And your voice definitely does have this serenity to it as
Thank
well,
you.
which obviously made our morning more wonderful. Which is why I'm going to ask you that, now this song of yours is very different from all the other songs you did. And you've experimented with so many genres that it's really hard to find what your niche is. So let's talk about that, because you have done kind of pop music as well, you've done hip-hop as well, you're on to strums as well, so where do you find that, okay, that's what I'm most comfortable with? What's that genre?
I think I'm comfortable with the kind of singer-songwriter genre, because I write music basically on a piano or a guitar solely, and I'm not very comfortable with the electronic side of music. So that's my genre, but that's something that has very less music in it and a lot of raw emotions and a lot of raw sound. And that's something that's yet to be, you know, somewhat accepted by Pakistan. So yeah, that's one of the EPs that I'm coming out with right now.
And that's, of course, I'm looking forward to that. But you know, Zoha, the part where you said that you really want to feel about it when you're doing the lyrics and the music yourself. That is something I would definitely look forward to in an artist. So I'm obsessed with Mercy from the Smiths, right? Obsessed is probably a small word. So, and when I find out there were some songs that he did not write, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to believe he wrote those because he's putting his soul into the music, so I'm really going to believe that. Do you think being your own lyricist actually changes the way you're putting out the music as well?
Yeah, because it becomes a little bit harder because there's less help, I would say. And every song takes up a lot of time when you're writing it yourself. You know, there are a lot of lines that you don't connect with yourself. You write it yourself, and then later on you think that's just not the right kind of, not the right word, not the right line. So it takes, I think it takes more time, but at the same time, when the song comes out, it's like a little piece of your heart.
Yeah, of
I think that's something that I can say with a very proud heart of mine, that everything that I've put out till now has had something that's like a piece of my heart in it.
And when you put a piece of your heart in it and then you do not receive a good, what do you say, comments or criticism or whatsoever, how do you feel?
I mean, how can criticism be good though?
There is good criticism.
There is good criticism.
But do you ever get backlash?
Yeah, I think social media is a place where if you put anything out, there's going to be backlash. But the thing that I feel the most is that I'm not very bothered about the bad comments as such, because whatever I'm putting out, I've put so much effort into it and so much heart into it that I'm generally very proud of it. And all the people that we call haters out there are generally not going to understand what went into making this song. They just don't understand music that well as well. So I just
like
don't
your
get
attitude
bothered.
about this.
Exactly, and you know, that's the way forward as well, because this is literally the same thing which I wanted to share with people out there as well, that you know that, okay, you know, you've written something, you've produced something, you're a content creator, whoever you are. You know, it's not really important that you're a musician. You want to put out things, you know, it's for the people out there to, you know, whether to like it or not. But there will certainly be people out of 7 billion global population who will actually like the work or the wavelength where you connect as well. So make sure that you always put it out rather than thinking, yaar, pata nahi log kya kahenge. I don't think that's the way forward, which is why all of these people now where they are, it is because of the fact that they never thought about it. They were like, okay, you know, this is which came to our hearts straight away, you know, let's share it with our audiences out there. And this is how it needs to be. But now coming down to Pakistan, pandemic, COVID, you know, there were so amazing festivals happening all over Pakistan. You know, we were becoming a country where people were actually coming from abroad to actually attend festivals over here, you know, and all the musicians, actors, everybody was very happy. Because first up, obviously, you know, everybody wanted to kind of listen to their content or whatever music they were making. And then people were very supportive of it. You know, we kind of got the discipline of how to attend these festivals. But unfortunately, you know, from the last 2 years, you know, it has been really difficult for people like us, you, or, you know, all of those other people within this industry or who are related with performing arts. So how did you go through all of this? Because, you know, being on stage, I'm going to be so honest over here, you know, it actually literally haunts you at times when you're not on stage. You know,
I know it's the opposite for me. I
you know,
cannot
because,
imagine
you know,
doing
there are thousands
live.
of people standing right in front of you, cheering up for you is a feeling of, I mean, you know, I fall short of words. I fall short of words to kind of explain that the kind of adrenaline rush you will get, you are never going to get it from a pre-workout drink you're going to have in the gym as well. You know, so it's different. So how did you spend this time, and what did you think about as an artist that, okay, you know what, probably this is the best time to consume with this activity? What was that activity?
So, first of all, it was a very hard time. Obviously, people all over the world were facing a lot of problems, I would say. I didn't go through Corona, so I'll be very thankful for that.
Nice.
But in the start, I would say that I thought it was a break for me, which is something that you generally need as an artist because you're performing on a loop. I was doing tours between cities before Corona started, and a lot of tours got cancelled, a lot of gigs got cancelled for me as well.
I was supposed to host an award show and it got cancelled.
Yeah. So, but like, when it happened, I looked at the brightest side and was like, I finally have time to sit at home and, you know, write some music. And I did that. I wrote a lot of music. But then later on, I wouldn't lie, it became very hard because, you know, I wasn't getting to perform that music live. And I would say that is something that was very, very heart-wrenching for me as well. But going through this time, we've all, I think, kind of realized that we have other platforms as well. We can put our music out there. And you must have seen that a lot of artists have put a lot of music out in this time, which is generally not what we see
I think
in a
Elizabeth
regular
was
time.
on top of his game. You know? He every now and then came up with a Sindhi song, came up with a Balochi song.
Every person.
Everybody was doing that as well. But Zoha, it was wonderful to have you here on the show.
Always
And you know, it's us who are actually lucky people who get to see such talented people on daily basis as well. So we're going to wrap it up, and then we're going to, you know, kind of sign off with you singing, okay? So you think about what song you're going to share with us. So ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of
Well This Morning.
On Twitter.
Well This Morning without
on Daily
GT.
Motion and GT.
Everything is Well This
The
Morning.
fabulous repeat is going to be at
5:00
till the next time. Look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning.
Take
yes. So take it away, please.
Just say we met, it was red. Strangers taking over my soul. Why do they have control? All this time I thought stars fell to ground is what we want. This time I won't fall far. Promise I would just stay within my heart. Maybe you will shine above in the skies, and I'll be falling to give us life. I'll be falling to give us life. I'll be falling to give us life. Time I hurt down, I think of all the things gone wrong. No pain seems to pass through my bones. My skin